Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Literally welcome back to an old series we had over on my channel at youtube.com/TrexLight, which is coming over here now to Nerds of the Apocalypse. It's my buddy George, and he has deemed himself, and I've deemed him, the movie troll.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's good to be back. It's been like a, 2-year hiatus?
2 years.
It's been, yeah.
It's been a roller coaster.
It has. I don't think I made it out of that roller coaster. I feel like there was a report about it.
At Six Flags?
Yeah, it was shut down for a while.
Yeah.
There was a homeless couple that doesn't exist anymore. It was a tragic event, and
Sounds like it.
there was much bloodshed and life lost, and how fortunate that they were homeless and won't be missed. But it's good to be back. Hi, everybody.
Yeah. So, for all the people who don't know, the movie troll and I sit down and actually kind of review movies. And the way we review movies, the way we review movies is he trolls it and I try to find the good in it, which is a good back and forth.
It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a good movie anymore, which is a complete lie. There's some good stuff out.
If there's not such thing as a good movie, there's at least good parts.
I guess, yeah. The credits are always enjoyable.
Ooh.
Like, man, there's people to blame. Like, that guy, he could not hold that camera steady.
The editing is like he was wearing a hat one scene. Where'd the hat go? Okay. So, because of the 2-year hiatus, George, the movie troll, has created a nice little list here that we're going to try to just ramble through. And then we're going to start seeing some movies hopefully every weekend and coming to you guys to bring you guys a nice little movie troll review. And, of course, we have our takes on these movies. You guys, of course, are the final judgment on if these movies are good or bad. And please, leave all your hateful comments in the section below.
Yes, it encourages me. It feeds my little ego and my black little heart. We should say that there's probably going to be spoilers about the movies that we're going to be reviewing or ranting about or whatever. And the list of those movies, in no particular order, is it's all from this summer, or since this summer, I guess, like May.
Yeah, we'll just list it as we go.
Okay, as we go?
Yeah, as we go.
Okay.
Then they're going to be like short ones, so this video might be a little long, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So,
it's all fun in games until somebody loses an eye. That's amazing. The blood, and the sinew, and the bus, and oh god.
And our first movie that we're going to talk about is Godzilla.
Yes.
Now, this is actually coming pretty close to home for you.
It's really close. I'm a huge Godzilla fan, like down deep. Ever since I was little, like my dad raised me on Godzilla.
And you brought Godzilla into my life, and I have never said no to King Ghidorah. Never.
Say that name again.
King Ghidorah. Ghidorah.
Sure, we'll go with that.
I always call it King Ghidorah, and you always corrected me.
Yeah, because I'm a dick. I mean, anyway, I was really, really skeptical about this movie because, again, my love affair with Godzilla over the years and how much I am just a super fan and super geek about it. After the 1998 American Godzilla, Gino, or Zilla, or whatever you want to call it, because it had an acronym for a while, Gino, Godzilla in name only. I was like, oh god, another American Godzilla, head for the hills.
Or head to New York.
Bring the kids in from in. I don't care if dinner's not ready. They're not allowed outside anymore. But it was actually a pretty awesome flick. They changed the design of Godzilla a little bit. They gave him kind of like crocodile stubby feet, but I mean I can get past it. He came to the monsters. He killed the shit out of some stuff. It was pretty cool. I will say there was way too much story. There was way too much human people and interactions, and
you never really hear that from a movie.
I know
it's too much story.
There was too much plot. There were too many people. I wanted to see giant monsters beating the crap out of each other, and every time they started, I got to see it in the background of a news report. And like,
this just in over at San Francisco. These things are ruining my shot. Can we get a little different thing, Cam?
There's a giant crab monster that just came out of Nevada, and we don't know what's going on. Here's sports.
But I will agree that the human element was kind of...
It was a little steep, but I mean, they did Godzilla a lot of justice. they changed a few characters that were in the original Godzilla's, like Dr. Serizawa, who was the original Godzilla's murderer, was like his researcher now. Is like kind of following around like a little, like
a fanboy.
Yeah, it's like,
let
them fight.
He's here. He's here.
Do you really think we should let them fight? Let them fight. I don't think it's a good idea. Let them fight.
Wow.
But then they finally get to the final fight. Is actually pretty awesome, and the new monsters that they made just for this movie, they did like almost the entire story was for them. They didn't. We don't need to give Godzilla a backstory. You know his backstory.
They did a pretty good backstory in the intro. It's like we had this giant lizard. It's like, oh, here's a nuclear bomb. We tried. It didn't work.
That thing won't die. The hell with it. Let it sleep.
Now, one thing I did take away from the movie is, and I always laugh at it, is the main two characters, which is the guy from Kick-Ass and then the Olsen twins' sister. They were married in the movie, and I'm like, wait a minute. They're gonna be Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch in the Avengers movie. Ew, brother and sister are kissing. Ew.
They're just getting that chemistry that's required to make sure, because in the Ultimate Universe they were like incestuous. Just say it. Not that
I don't want to say anything.
Anyway, back to Godzilla. I actually stood up and clapped. I got like the super retarded happy smoke when I saw him light up and shoot the fire.
Oh, I ruined the movie for everybody I was with because I was just gasping and everybody was looking at me, and then they missed a shot and I'm like, it's not my fault you couldn't pay attention. I'm a black guy in the movie theater. I'm gonna make a noise.
Pry that thing is prying the mouth open and just just puking down his throat. I was like, oh, it's awesome. Oh my god, I think it just came a little. It was so good. But if I had to rate it, it's not the best Godzilla movie I've ever seen, but it's hella good. It's up there. They did Godzilla justice, and he kicked arse. It was pretty good. Second one on our list is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And this movie got a lot of flack from a lot of people, and it fucking deserved it. But I have to say that any flaw that I'm about to go into, and there's a few that are like, what the crap are you thinking? But any flaw that I mention about The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is completely overshadowed by how amazing they did on Peter's character. This was Spider-Man. This is the guy that I grew up with. I mean, Andrew Garfield, nah, man. I'll blame the writing or something, but he made jokes. He made mistakes. He was Spider-Man. He wasn't just a guy in a costume swinging around. I like the fact that they changed his costume back. I thought it was a very good thing. And I know in the first review we did or whatever, it was do you think it would have been better or worse with a different costume? Fuck, it was better because of the costume. I'm full of shit. I don't know what I'm talking about. But then there were a lot of mistakes they made. It was hey, this is Harry Osborn. He's your best friend. We've only known him for 10 minutes, but here you go. And the fact that the actor that played Harry Osborn did a fine job. He wasn't none of the actors did poor or anything like that, except the Rhino. He was only in it for 5 seconds, other than getting trolled at the beginning of the movie.
Now, before we go on with the Rhino, they actually came out with some shots saying that the Rhino was actually not going to be originally a robot suit. It was going to be a robot suit, or they had designs of him actually
Well, a lot of people are super troll about he made him into a giant Iron Man robot thing.
Ultimate Rhino.
Exactly. That's my whole thing. It's well, yeah.
It's from the Ultimate Universe.
He's got 4 versions of that friggin' suit in the Ultimate Universe. The only difference is in the Ultimate, he was intelligent.
Yeah, because he was the actual scientist.
Yeah, he's just a dumb thug in a robot suit, which is cool.
They combined the 2 different versions of Rhino.
Which is dumb thug in a robot suit. But,
okay.
A lot of people super hated on that. But honestly, I thought it was good to see him get back on the horse, even if it sacrificed a shitty character like the Rhino to do it. And I mean, he's going to be in the next movie. I mean, we're sure of it. But it was neat. I thought that was not a bad thing, especially since they super rushed. Hey, let's go Gwen Stacy. I will say, I remember that we mentioned another thing. There was a report of Gwen or of Emma Stone, and they're like, so how does it feel to know that your character might die after the movie's been fucking filmed and stuff? She's like, Gwen Stacy dies? I have to say, even during a freaking interview, she's a great actress. Oh my god. Love her. Love her. God, she's a sexy bitch. And so talented.
She is.
Oh my god. She's sexy. I still am kind of upset that she didn't. She originally cast for Claire from Heroes, and she didn't make it. She said she wasn't cute enough for the role. I know, right? But they jumped the shark twice, and you didn't even know it. Peter Petrelli can copy every power. I'm sorry. I hated Heroes after like season 3. It was just went.
After the writer strike, it's not their fault, all right? After the writer strike, everything just went downhill.
Yes, it was. They wanted to get paid. How could they?
Understandable.
But there were left quite a few like little. They jumped the gun and stuff, and like Electro was neat and cool, but I mean
I only give him credit for the Times Square event.
The Times Square event was cool. I thought the thing, like killing, not killing, but like beating the shit out of the super evil guy upstairs and Oscar. I don't know. I liked Electro. After he got his powers, he was cool. He was creepy as crap as Matt Dillon. It's like, oh man, I want to make a birthday cake. It's got all this stuff.
And people gave crap to Jamie Foxx because he did a horrible job in the role. And I'm like, no, he's supposed to be that creepy.
He's a little weird. He's an odd duck. And Jamie Foxx didn't do a bad job, and he did a good job when he turned into Electro. And the character development was nice, but yeah, that was just weird. I think I was starting to say something about Harry Osborn. Did a good job. Really rushed doing the whole.
Get here. Here he is.
Here. You need a Green Goblin. Here you go. But I thought he looked a lot like Peter Parker when he went emo from the old trilogy. I was like,
I didn't want to say
anything.
anything.
My God.
I didn't want to say anything.
Well, the costume's already here. Just comb his hair and put it on. It's fine. It's a good fit. It's good. Let's see. The next on the list was A Million Ways to Die in the West. I can't talk. How you doing?
I didn't get to see this. It was because I am a Seth MacFarlane fan. As lame as that is, as lame as a lot of people will give you grief for it. But I do like some of his stuff. I love Ted. Can't wait for Ted 2. Million Ways to Die in the West was, I feel, like his throwaway to do whatever the hell he wanted to. Like the studio just gave it to him.
He did so much crap. There were cameos from other characters like that I never saw coming. I was like, I would be spoiling it for you because you didn't know any of it.
I'm still gonna have to. I'm waiting for Netflix.
Like they did one in the preview that happened in the movie, and that I was just like, that's awesome. Like he went to a bar or something. He's coming back, and there's like this light in like the shed or something at the side.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's
Doc Brown.
Yeah, Doc Brown. Like Emmett Brown. I was like, that's awesome.
It's like,
what are you doing?
Nothing.
It's a weather experiment. Oh my god, that was great. But they had another, like the very end of the movie, like after like a bit of the credits. Okay, this takes a little bit of explanation because there was a point in the movie where there's like a little shooter game, or like a target practice thing where they do a little thing. They've got these little targets that are moving.
Yeah.
And the game was called Runaway Inward. And little po-po guys on the thing you're shooting. It was so awful. So at the end of the movie, they go to the carnival, they cut to the carnival, there's this little game, and Jamie Foxx, as Django, walks up and shoots the guy that's running it. I thought it was so great. When I saw the shooter game at first, I was like, that's messed up, man. And I saw that, I was like, made the movie. Like, the movie is, like, it's incredibly crass. It's incredibly, what's the word I'm looking for? Just vulgar. Oh my god. But it's funny as hell. Like, yeah, it was, in a lot of ways, it was a lot better than Ted because the humor was just so rough. But I didn't think it flowed as well as Ted. Like, the story wasn't quite as well put together, but the jokes and the humor was just awesome.
And then Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, yes.
Wow. You better move on to our next one before you start explaining that.
Okay, anyway. The next one was How to Train Your Pet Dragon 2, which you didn't watch again, did you?
I did not.
Man, you've had a shitty summer.
I chose my movies.
I had nothing to do for the last 2 years. So
He has not.
I've been watching so many movies. I could have filled this list up with like 30 movies easily.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
No.
So how's the movie?
Oh, dude. It was so great. Like, the first How to Train Your Pet Dragons was amazing. This one was...
I think you're the only one who actually goes it by How to Train Your Pet Dragon. Everyone really just goes with
2.
No, everyone goes with How to Train Your Dragon 2.
That's the full name of the movie. I'm sorry if people are too ignorant to say the full fucking name of the movie.
I have never seen the full name of the movie as at Your Pet Dragon. I've never seen the pet dragon. I've never seen the pet part.
Well, that's great. That's more text than a commercial. I don't care. It's okay. Dragons 2, whatever, was amazing. The first one was great. Second one was great. It's a little darker though. Like there's parts of it, but it's just so good. Like they introduce Hiccup's mother.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. And like apparently she's been,
a dragon master.
Well, she's not the master. She's just like trained, like she's rescuing them from this guy Drago Bloodfist, who he calls himself the Dragon Master. He's found this thing, it's like the alpha species, and he takes his alpha and goes to the one that the mother has been helping rescue stuff for, and makes them fight and kills theirs. So he now has an alpha that can control all dragons.
Ooh.
And then he makes, again, there's spoilers, he makes Toothless try to kill Hiccup. And his dad gets in the way.
Oh.
They kill Stoic.
Oh, wow.
He's dead. He's dead. There's not bloody or anything.
You can't cure Gerard Butler.
No, you can't cure Gerard Butler. It's like, apparently it went from, he's doing a really great role. He's doing an amazing job. Let's do The Bodyguard. Or was it not The Bodyguard? There's some movie like he did Law-Abiding Citizen, and that was so great.
Yeah.
And then he came out immediately afterwards with The Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
And that was pretty awful. Like it's not his fault, but the movie was just bad. And as much as what is her name? The chick from the movie. She was in Friends.
Jennifer Aniston.
Yes.
No. The Bounty Hunter.
That's Jennifer Aniston. Yeah.
No, the Bounty Hunter. That was Katherine Heigl from Grey's Anatomy.
Sure.
Positive, because
there's one with her and Jennifer Aniston and Gerard Butler.
I do not know that one. Because the Bounty Hunter, Katherine Heigl was the Bounty Hunter.
Okay.
And she was chasing Gerard.
I don't remember what it was called, but that movie was awful. It doesn't matter that Jennifer Aniston was sexy. God, is she sexy? She's always been sexy.
She's just looking for love.
Yeah.
And no kids.
Hey man, she liked younger guys. Anyway. But it was a really awesome flick, and it was cool to see the development of the characters and the whole thing. It was just stellar flick. Like I'd have to say that's probably one of the best 3D movies I've seen in a long time, and that's saying something. 3D animations are just coming up. Like there's so much good that's been going on. Like I'm super looking forward to Big Hero number 6.
Me too.
Oh my god.
Me too.
Like we're reviewing that super hard. If I have anything bad to say about it, you're allowed to beat the crap out of me because
you heard it. I have it on video.
He'll probably tape it on video too, like a wrestling match. Anyway, after that was Transformers Extinction or whatever. It was Extinction.
Age of Extinction.
Sure. Okay. It's Transformers 4. Which is
the Michael Bay reboot.
It's just going to show Michael Bay trying to kill my childhood more and more. Although, I have to admit, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't good, but it wasn't that bad. He didn't see that either, because his faith in the Transformers movies have gone, because they should. But they took out Shia LaBeouf, thank God, and the movie was so much better for it. And they added Marky Mark instead.
They did.
They did. And it was cool because he was like the overprotective father. And it was a weird, like the hot chick in the movie was actually his daughter.
Oh, yeah. It's like, you see this? I found a Transformer.
Yeah. And, okay, I'm a little upset about it. Like, he finds Optimus Prime, who actually has reformed himself like to be hidden as a messed up old Mack truck, like the Gen 1 Optimus. And it was like, wait, you could have done that the whole time? And he's got like bullet wounds and all this shit, and because the guy is like a mechanic slash like,
Salvage.
Well, he's like a inventor.
Okay.
And he fixes Optimus and puts them back together, and then Optimus later finds a truck, and he's turns into that truck, and he's good as new. Everything's hunky dory. Why is the government able to kill these things if they can just say, "Hey, it's made of metal and it has an engine"? New car.
Kind of takes me back to the 1984 animated movie when they were on the junk planet and they put everybody together and got the polish and everything on them.
All I can think about of that movie is every time I think there's like a AMV about it where it's got the little robots dancing. Domo arigato. I lost it. Anyway, the Transformers 4 is worth watching. Like if it ever shows up on FX, I'm totally gonna watch it if I'm flipping through the channels, because thank God they would finally take off like Dark of the Moon, because God, that was such a bad. Oh my God, Transformers 2. Revenge of the Fallen.
Revenge of the Fallen.
Dark of the Moon wasn't awful, and I was glad to see Megan Fox not be in that movie. But I don't like Megan Fox.
We know this.
Oh my God,
It's okay.
she's a bitch.
Yes.
But they put like that super hot Australian chick in play. Oh my God, so much better for it. Still had Shia LaBeouf. The movie was bad, but that was okay. And then after that, speaking of killing my childhood, there was the new Ninja Turtles movie, where apparently they're bulletproof. Yeah, they're bulletproof. They're 8 feet tall. They're super heavy. Never mind the fact they're jumping around like freaking jumping beans. It's like,
They're ninjas.
let me get this straight. These guys are bulletproof on their shells, and actually pretty much everywhere. Because considering how bad most movie villains are, and they're shooting, you'd think that the recoil would get a limb or two, but no, they're fine. And there's like a point where they're coming down a hill, and they hit like Donatello uses his bow staff, and this oak bow staff takes an SUV and flips it without breaking like a twig. I'm sorry, my the disbelief is gone. I can't like this was a suspension of disbelief. I can't do it. That was so fake. And then like they introduced the Shredder, who has like a giant power suit, and he's throwing knives that somehow magnetically come back to him, and that's weird.
Well, just the imagery of it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome, but it's like, how's this work? And of course, the Ninja Turtles movie had Megan Fox, and we all know how much I love her as an actress. She's
such a great reporter.
She's such a graceful reporter. She was. Honestly, they didn't play up like, oh, hey, she's got a hot body or anything like that. And she didn't have much in the way of character, and they tried to put her more into the character of the Turtles, and they changed the plot. But at least they weren't aliens.
At least they weren't
aliens. If all I can say is this movie was god-awful, but at least they weren't aliens. It was so fucking bad. Oh my God. It was like... And that's I looking back at it, like when I actually saw it, I was like, man, I didn't think it was that bad. But I literally had my wisdom teeth removed. Like I'm not kidding. I had my wisdom teeth removed like 5 hours earlier, and I was super high on oxycodone at the time. So I was like, I can't sleep. I'm gonna go watch the Ninja Turtles. So I went and watched the Ninja Turtles. Like, I had somebody like that took me because obviously I couldn't drive or whatever. And they're like, they told me after this movie was so bad. I didn't think it was that awful. You're high as a kite. So as I have come down, I've realized just how bad that movie was. So bad. Then we have Guardians of the Galaxy, which was awesome. As amazing as it was, though, and as much as I'm super happy that this was like Marvel's response to, oh, you don't want to make a Wonder Woman movie? Oh, Wonder Woman's too obscure for the big screen. Here's a fucking tree and a talking raccoon. Fuck up. Like, despite the fact that I love that, and it was such a good movie. It was actually, when I think about it, it's the most vulgar Marvel movie that they've had.
It is.
It's like there was so much sexual reference and stuff. I feel kind of weird about taking kids to that movie, but it's so good. Oh my
it
god.
gets overshadowed by the talking raccoon in the tree.
It does, and it was a really good flick. But I mean, there was so much sex talk and so much, there was a good bit of cussing. It was a lot more. It was more vulgar than some of the other Marvel movies, but it was still so good. I mean, it made you feel. The very beginning of the movie, like I was like crying.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, his mommy. There's an alien ship.
It's like you can't do this at the beginning of a movie, Marvel.
I mean, it's really, and like it made people buy cassettes again. It has to be good. Outdated technology is fun.
I mean, the soundtrack is being released on cassette tape next month.
I own it on disc, and I'll still get it on cassette tape. It's freaking great. My dad makes costumes and stuff for things, and he was working on a Groot. I was actually right before this. I was his human mannequin putting on Groot, which is always fun because he's a little shorter than me, which means that everything fits a little tight and hurts. It's like, Dad, why are you putting spray mount on? Oh, just hold still, George. Damn it. But Guardians of the Galaxy was phenomenal. I loved everything about it. A lot of people were like, it's like Marvel's excuse for Star Wars. Man, I would rather watch this than Star Wars. It was more entertaining. There wasn't like a lot of like slow points because Star Wars, like for episode 4, 5, 6, great. Well, I'm not super fan of episode 6 of the Dead Eyes, but that being said, it has like points of slowness where they're like, hey, let's insert plot here.
Yeah.
Like they were able to do this a lot more fluidly and quickly, and it was really cool. It was really good.
And like for how much of an obscure a movie it was, it still tied into the rest of the cinematic universe.
It did, and it was, God, considering how obscure all these characters are, this is like Marvel stepped up their game with this one. It was like, because you think about it, Captain America and Iron Man and Hulk, people knew them, but they didn't like, hey, do you know who Tony Stark was 10 years ago? And like, who?
Yeah.
Like, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, everybody know who they were. They were the 3 most popular characters in comics. And then I think Wonder Woman was the next one after that. So the 4th most popular character in comics is not good enough to be in movies. I'm still upset about that. So Marvel, not having the rights to Spider-Man, said they had to do something else. And now what was their B-list, and it was their B-list, it's still good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Is like, it's a household name. Like, everybody knows it. So they took like their C and D list. Wouldn't be surprised if we see, the Runaways coming up soon. That would be great. Or like, what is it?
After Marvel released their lineup for Phase 3, my buddy came on Facebook. He's like, "So Marvel, when am I going to get the Sunspot and Cannonball buddy comedy?"
Oh man! And of course, because of their success, DC's trying to hang on their coattails by putting every cameo they possibly can into this new Batman Superman movie, which could be good, but I don't know. It's whatever. And then the movie that we actually, we both actually saw very recently, and we have very contrasting opinions on this, is The Judge, which was Robert Downey Jr.'s baby, which I'm not saying it's a bad flick. I'm not saying I know how I feel about the flick, but to put it into words, it's like reverse Daredevil. Because like Daredevil was like 1/3 of a pretty awesome movie, and then it went to shit, and they introduced Bullseye. This movie started off so funky. Like the beginning of the movie, you just had there were edits in it that I was like, I just didn't agree with. The character, Robert Downey Jr.'s character, was very vulgar and unnecessarily, rough.
So is Robert Downey Jr.
No. I'm just saying it was out of place with the rest of the movie. The first third of the movie, until like his dad gets in trouble, was just so out of place. So just.
Well, I mean, it was a jilt. He's jilted from his childhood, and he's coming with stuff problems with his wife. And
I can understand that from a story aspect, and as a story aspect, it was fine. But I'm saying as an editing aspect, the movie just felt out of place in the beginning. And there's like the scene when he's driving down the road and stuff, and like they pan out, and it's obviously CG. In a movie that doesn't need any CG, it's a CG truck, and they rotate around and look at everything.
Wasn't CG.
then it was a really bad shot. They should have taken it again.
You know why? And I know it wasn't CG. Was because when it finally panned out, when you look at the crops that were onto the side, they were moving like it was a helicopter wind blowing it.
It's because they did more than one shot. It's CG being transitioned into real picture. They do that all the time. But the very beginning of it, when they pan out, is just so sloppy. It was so sloppy. I just it was icky. There's a point that I stopped realizing it, and then I'm pretty sure that it transitioned into real film. But they did this unnecessary little thing where they rotate around the car, and it just started so B-movie kind of CG.
I mean,
or something I would see in a video game.
Yeah, that shot was just to show that he was driving, and so it was in the countryside.
He's in a car. We see that he's driving. You can use physical cuts and not use one continuous camera shot. It was a very bad idea. Also, peeing on the guy in the restroom, and a lot his character was just.
He's an ass.
There were lots of random shots they didn't explain. There were a lot of things about the movie as far as the story never story never lost me. The story never there were parts that I was no dude. When he thought that the chick that he made out with in the thing was his daughter. No, it's just her niece. Oh, that's so much better.
That had me floored.
Apparently Indiana is the northern equivalent of Alabama. So it's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good.
All good.
Also, the older brother, I can never see him in a movie anymore without seeing Gomer Pyle. Your parents have any children that lived? I bet they regret that. I love that movie so much. It's a Full Metal Jacket, for those who don't get the reference. Have you even seen that movie?
Full Metal Jacket, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Honestly, all you need to watch is the basic training scene, and the rest of it's meh.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought after they established everything and they started doing the actual, they actually introduced all of his problems and the problems with the dad, and he's actually started going to work, doing what he's supposed to. It was a stellar flick. It was really all of the weird and awkward stuff at the beginning and the choices for the camera angles, the decisions for things that happened, that it just felt out of place. And it's not that it felt out of place in the total movie. It felt out of place when I was watching it.
So you feel your issues come more of a director,
an artistic standpoint.
Yeah.
And honestly, the vulgarness of his character, especially when it involved his wife, water the fucking petunias or whatever the fuck they were.
That was.
I was like, there is absolutely no reason for this.
Well, I mean, it was
I understand he's angry.
Yeah.
But I mean, he could have. Don't drive angry. It was just so out of place and unlikable. This is the main character.
I think that's what they probably went with. It's to give us that snowball. It's we really his character is a bad guy.
He's not a bad guy.
Well, he acts poorly as a human.
But as soon as they introduced as soon as it was about his dad and everything like that, and he honestly, I never disliked what he was doing. Oh, you get paid to let criminals off. You mean you're doing your job? It's not like he's getting extra money. It's not like he's making. Sure, he makes a lot of money because he's a good lawyer. He does what lawyers do. But I mean, if the defense attorney isn't, or excuse me, if the prosecutor isn't good enough to prove that this guy who's obviously guilty did it, that's not on him. That's not his fault. And just there was a point in the scene or a point in the movie where the dad is talking about this lawyer that was defending this guy who was obviously guilty, and he was so proud of this guy. But you're gonna shit on your son for doing the same thing every day. Man, hypocrites much. But that's me. I mean, I liked the movie. Well, I guess I liked the movie. The end of it was just, I really felt, and it was really cool, but there were parts where I was like, it hurt me. I didn't.
Yeah, the whole time I was watching it, I think as soon as they introduced the dad, and when Robert Duvall's character, which is Robert Duvall's probably greatest role I've seen him do, and I loved Gods and Generals. It was a great flick for him, and seeing him in this movie really put me on his. He's on my favorite list more. And once they introduced that, it's like literally the tears just. I could not stop tearing up.
I have balls, so I didn't cry in the movie, but I felt emotional. And it was you felt it, but
If you have a lot of dad issues, this isn't the movie you really want to go see.
I have a good dad. Like my dad's.
Oh
pretty
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I mean, my dad's
Well,
a good guy.
I can't say anything like, despite the fact that he puts me in torture devices, he calls costumes. Other than that, he's a really good guy.
He's a good guy.
He's a great guy. He's my hero. He's always has been. But so I guess this movie didn't affect me as some people. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I just started going off with like my grandfather because he's getting an age and around that age, and how strict Robert Duvall's character was with being a judge. And
Your grandfather's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying anything about that. I don't know. Parts of the movie I just didn't agree with, and there shouldn't be. I feel like movies shouldn't do that. You should either like a movie or dislike the movie, but never disagree with why something happened. You know,
yeah,
like and they were all editing choices. They weren't like the story. Like Billy Bob Thornton did a great job.
yeah,
And I liked the fact that, like, after seeing him try so hard to protect his dad and all the stuff that he did, and actually being a good lawyer by trying not to hurt his client by hiding the truth that he knew that could save him the entire time, and then becoming a good son by revealing it, and just watching the turmoil on his face. Like, no, the last 2/3 of the movie were stellar, and I loved everything about that. Just the first third just felt weird, and there were little things that kind of came back up that made me kind of irk, like oh, you made out with your niece. That's cool. Well, he didn't know at the time, but it's like, oh, he's in. Okay, I will have to say that from a legal standpoint, if you're getting a divorce and you're making out with some random chick in a bar and people can fucking prove it, you got to be real sure about yourself as a lawyer. No, I can get off on this. Come here. It's like, what? Oh,
but who's going to sue Robert Downey Jr.? Come on, RDJ's been through worst.
yes, he has. But it was enjoyable. When his Facebook page came up, and my friend read, "Oh, Michael watched the Judge." And man, he said he was crying. He said it was the best. The story was incredible. Man, we didn't watch the same movie. I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad by any means, but it was.
For Robert Downey Jr., I haven't seen him in this type of role for a very long time. I mean, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was probably the most recent one before he started doing the Marvel movies. But the feels I had for the Judge reminded me of when I first saw my first Robert Downey Jr. movie, which was Chaplin.
Chaplin was really good, and he did an excellent job. The sad thing is that I've always liked Robert Downey Jr. And I truly hope that he continues to embrace the role of Tony Stark, especially now that character is going to be he's going to be going through some crap soon with the new lineup that Marvel's coming up with. But I know that a lot of people, when they're kind of tight cast for a role, they get tired of it. But I mean, as long as he can do it and he can keep it up, and feel like I want him to. Not as a fan, but as a fan. He does a good job. If he can do justice for the movie, I think he should. And especially since, wasn't that kind of the role that brought him back?
It was.
I mean, he went through a really hard a hard roller coaster ride of really hard drugs and stuff. And he was a great actor before. He's a great actor now.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm not going to say he's done the character more than justice. He owes the role nothing. But I know that a lot of actors like Sir Ian McClellan kind of gets tired of people saying, "Hey, it's Gandalf. Hey, it's Magneto," or like Harrison Ford is like, "Hey, it's
Indy." I just want to go to Robert Downey Jr. and hear people say, "It's like, hey, it's Charlie Chaplin," and I hope his eyes just light up.
Now he'd probably turn around, give you a pat on the back, and say, "You're an asshole," and walk off. I don't know. I feel like he would be just the coolest guy to hang out with.
I mean, he posted a picture on his Facebook, and he was at the DMV. I'm like, I really want to work at the DMV now.
Oh my god, I wouldn't want to work at the DMV. It's like I got one celebrity and 1,000 assholes today. That's awesome.
So that's it for our inaugural welcome back movie troll. We expect it to be a little long. So leave any comments, any discussion points that you guys want to put into the comments below. He'll probably answer some, if not. Also, if you guys have any suggestions on movies that you guys would like us to troll/review.
Also, if you'd like us to do older movies that we haven't done before, I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I want to do like a retro thing.
Yeah.
And we never did the whole stuff with like the other genres of movies. I feel like we should finish that. We did like comedies, and I was like, we're done. Because I left.
Because someone left.
I went AWOL. I was gone. Nobody saw me. I was incognito.
Only on holidays. So leave, like George said, leave any retro movies that you guys like us to troll or /review. I always want to put that troll/review. Just put them in the comments below, and we'll definitely take a look at it. And stay tuned for more movie troll now that we can back doing this. So we'll see you guys next time, and you guys take care.
The Dark Knight Rises still sucks.
It does.